This meeting is being recorded.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Little Prince No Father. Once there was a king and he went out for a picnic. But then suddenly he was separated from all his guards, so he was lost. And then he heard a beautiful voice singing, so he followed the voice until he reached the person who was singing. And so he reached a beautiful young woman who was collecting firewood. And then he asked the woman where to go back to the kingdom. So then and then the woman and the king made a deal that like he would get the child when the woman gave birth, the birth to the son, and like she would also use the ring to to prove it. So she got the ring and made the deal. So then after the king, as promised, the king got the son, but there was like a big party, so they wouldn't. So he was very ashamed. So he lied and said, "No, that is not my son." And then the woman said that if she threw the son up and he would fall down and die, that meant that it was not his son. But then when she did that, the son stayed there mid-air and did not fall. So the king learned the lesson to not lie. So he accepted the child, and then he after he learned the lesson, he let the son be the king after. The moral the story is mostly about like there was a king in the picnic, having a picnic, and then he got lost, and then he found a woman and made the deal, and then he made and he gave her the ring, and then later on he was at a party, and then suddenly the woman came in, and then she said that if she threw the son up in the air, he would it would be his child, and when she threw it, he was in midair. So then the king learned his lesson. So then so the moral is truth is always stronger than a lie. And an example is this. It's a reward for honesty. It said once there was a painter that was honest. He would always charge everyone the right price. There was a rich merchant that called the painter to paint his boat for for his wife and child to be there. So then the painter set to work. Then he noticed a hole size as a giant bead. So he patched the hole. The next day, the merchant heard the maid said saying that there was a hole in the boat and that the rich merchant's wife and children were in the boat, and he immediately panicked and called the painter. The painter calmly explained he had patched the boat when he was painting. Thus, the painter was rewarded a big profit of money. The end. And another example in real life is like when I when was little, I didn't know what was it, truth and lie. So one time I did something like I forgot what it was, and then I said that I didn't do it, and then when my mom found out, so I got in trouble for lying. So then I learned my lesson.
This meeting is being recorded.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Once there was a king who had 100 sons. The youngest son, the 100th one, was Gamani. He was kind and energetic. Even though he was the 100th son, he was lucky enough to have the best teacher. It was a custom for princes to go in a province to learn. When he was old enough for that assignment, he asked his wise teacher what he should do to please the king. The wise teacher said that he should tell him that he should not choose any province for him, because once everyone is gone, there's no one to take care of the king. When the prince told the king was very pleased because the prince took care of him very well. On another one of his assignment, he asked his teacher what he should do, and he said that he should ask the king to give him the duty of collecting taxes. The king was very pleased with the 100th son. He was very kind and fair with the townspeople. When he gave food to people in need, he was very kind and sympathetic and compassionate. When later the king was on his deathbed and didn't know who to choose as the king, he let the townspeople choose. Since the 100th prince, Gamani, had the the love and affection of all, he was chosen the king. The older sons felt insulted and felt that they would be laughed at by other kingdoms from the fact that the youngest son was the king. The 99 other princes gathered together with the 99 little armies to attack the kingdom. The prince, King Gamani, gave each of his brothers money. The 99 brothers thought that they were worthless. Before they attacked the kingdom, they realized that if they attacked the kingdom, it would be left in little pieces. It would also be meaningless. They accepted the gift as peace and lived under the rule of Gamani. King Gamani invited the brothers into his kingdom. They were becoming more friends than brothers. After months, the brothers had to leave into the province. King Gamani then let his wise teacher live in the kingdom and said to the court that the efforts of this kingdom is from the wise teacher, and no other kingdom dare to threaten them or its people. The summary of the story is that there was once a king with 100 sons, and the 101 Gamani and youngest had a very wise teacher. The wise teacher advised them to do things to please his king and help with the affection and love from every townsperson. And later, on the king's deathbed, he let the people choose, and they all decided that Prince Gamani should be king. The brothers felt insulted and tried to lead an attack on the kingdom. The king tried to make peace by giving them parts of the treasure, even though the 99 brothers thought that it was worthless. Before they attacked it, they realized that if they attacked it and destroyed it into little pieces, it would also be meaningless. So they accepted the gift and had to show that they were at peace. The king and his brothers began to become more friends than brothers. After months, the brothers left into the province. He invited his best teacher. He invited the wise teacher to live with him. He told everybody that he was king, and the efforts of this kingdom was thanks to the great teacher. The moral of the story is that someone who listens to a wise teacher will be rewarded. An example of this would be if you were to do something and a wise person would advise you not to do that, and if you listen to them, you would be rewarded by not being in trouble because of something bad that would have happened if you hadn't listened to the wise person. And another example is that when we had a test and my teacher was wise and told me to study, because I listened to the teacher and studied hard, I came the next day and I had a good grade on my test. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.